Today, on October 4, the signs weren't vague. You just chose not to see them. What you mocked as coincidence was divine instruction. You're now accountable for what you ignored. This one truth could save you. Today, on October 4, heaven did not whisper, it thundered. And while the earth still turns, while cities move in their usual rhythms, something in the spirit realm has shifted irrevocably. This date was not chosen at random. It did not fall from the calendar by accident. October 4 is a divine appointment, etched in scrolls unseen by human eyes, circled in realms where angels stand ready to deliver heaven's decree. This moment, this day, was marked long before your confusion, long before your wandering, long before your denial. It has arrived, and you have felt it. For many, the signs came like soft winds, numbers repeating on clocks, sudden delays in plans, whispers in dreams that you dismissed upon waking. There were moments you couldn't explain, an encounter that startled your spirit, a phrase someone spoke that wouldn't leave your heart, a song you heard that echoed something deeper than melody. But instead of pausing, instead of asking, instead of turning your ear upward, you mocked the pattern as coincidence. You brushed it off as nothing more than chance. And that's where the fracture began. The heavens did not give signs and mystery to confuse you. They were given to position you. Every disruption, every delay, every detour was divine, instruction wrapped in disguise. And now, the truth stands in front of you like a gate. You're no longer innocent in your ignorance. You are accountable for what you ignore. And the weight of that truth cannot be softened, for it carries within it both danger and deliverance. This message is not a broadcast to all. It is not for the curious or the skeptical. It is for you, the one who has felt the tremble in your bones and could not explain it. The one who keeps hearing the same inner nudge, but keeps silencing it. The one who felt the stillness press upon your heart, but chose distraction over devotion. This moment is yours, because you still have time, but only if you respond now. Silence is your gateway. Stillness is your instruction. Repentance is your release. Obedience is your survival. You are standing at the edge of something heaven has waited for you to confront. And this one truth, if you receive it, if you let it pierce your excuses and uproot your pride, this one truth could save you. Type "I receive the truth" in the comments if you hear this word. Blessing code 777 is now in motion over your life. As the morning of October 4 rises, so does the scroll of heaven. The Spirit of the living God has dispatched me, Michael, Archangel of the host, to deliver this urgent decree, not for the many, but for the few. Not for those who scroll and scoff, but for the awakened ones whose hearts have been trembling in silence. This is not a message designed to tickle ears. It is not entertainment. This is a spiritual intervention. This is a holy interruption. This is a final call to attention. Heaven is watching your response. With every breath you take today, the spiritual realm is recording. As the sun pierces the horizon, so too has the veil between the seen and unseen been torn. You are no longer just a passerby of divine timing. You are now a participant in divine accountability. The alarms that rang in your spirit were not just personal concerns. the restless nights, the strange dreams, the inner nudges you tried to suppress. They were signals, divine codes. And now, your spirit knows. You can't unfeel it. You can't unhear it. You are no longer blind. Hear me clearly. I do not come to condemn you. I come to warn you, to shake you from the slumber that has numbed your discernment. This day, October 4, is not just another line on the calendar. It is a spiritual intersection. What you do in the next few days will determine what unlocks or what breaks in the atmosphere surrounding your life. Let the skeptics mock. Let the distracted scroll past. Let the proud ignore. But you, yes, you, know this moment is for you. Because something in your chest tightens as these words reach you. Something in your soul stands still. It's not fear. It's recognition. It's the voice you've been hearing in the silence, finally speaking through the noise. There is no more room for pretending. No more disguising divine instruction as mere coincidence. What you mocked before, you must now kneel before. The weight you feel is not pressure, it is presence. Holy presence. Divine presence. And it is pulling you toward repentance, toward stillness, toward surrender. October 4 is your day of awakening. The signs were not vague. They were veiled to see if you would look deeper. The dreams were not random. They were encoded to test if your spirit would seek. The delays were not hindrances. They were shields, protecting you from something you were rushing toward blindly. This word is not a blanket. It is a blade, sharp, precise, piercing the division of soul and spirit. And it comes with this commission. Let your posture be low. Let your ears be open. Let your repentance be real. The signs you ignored have not disappeared. They have multiplied, and now they testify against your delay. But grace has not closed its gates. There is still a window, and you are still called. You were chosen for such a time as this, not to collapse, not to wander, but to wake up, to see, to respond, to rise. Heaven has marked this day. Now you must mark it too. Type "I am awake" in the comments if your spirit knows this word is for you. Blessing code 999 is surrounding you now. You felt it before you could name it. The chill in the air that had nothing to do with the weather. The glances from strangers that lingered a second too long. The repeating numbers, 222, 333, 444, flashing across your phone screen, receipts, and license plates. You laughed it off. You told yourself, it's just coincidence, though your spirit whispered, it's not. What you thought was random was revelation. The signs didn't shout, they whispered. They showed up in odd delays and sudden interruptions. A meeting cancel. A detour that made you late. A phone call that didn't go through. These were not accidents. They were divine diversions. Heaven was slowing you down to save you from something ahead. But instead of yielding, you rushed forward. You pushed past the divine caution tape and insisted it was all just life being messy. But it wasn't life. It was God. There were people who came into your path unexpectedly. Someone who asked you a strange question. Someone who shared a dream with you that felt too personal. Someone who walked away without explanation. These weren't coincidences. They were messengers in disguise. Heaven has been strategically positioning players around you, and you mistook their presence as irrelevant. You told yourself, they don't know me, yet something they said haunted you for days. That wasn't them. That was the Spirit of the Lord speaking through the unlikeliest mouths. Do you remember the dream you had? The one that felt more real than your waking life. The one with symbols you didn't understand, yet couldn't forget. That wasn't your imagination. It was instruction. It was coded communication from the throne room, and instead of writing it down, you rolled over and forgot it. But your spirit didn't forget. It's why you've been agitated. It's why you felt like you're walking in a fog you can't explain. Because deep down, your soul knows you missed something. And now you find yourself unsettled. You feel like something is off, but you can't put your finger on it. You're restless. You've been waking up in the middle of the night for no reason. You felt waves of sadness or anxiety come over you suddenly, then lift just as fast. That's not emotional instability. That's spiritual activity. You are sensing the weight of a word unheeded. You're beginning to ask the right questions. Was that conversation really random? Was that delay really accidental? Was that prophetic post I scrolled past meant for me? And even now, as you hear these words, you're remembering moments you dismiss. Moments that now look a lot more like assignments than accidents. Heaven was talking, but you weren't listening. But the mercy of God is this. He's speaking again. This is your confirmation. The chills, the flashbacks, the sudden awareness, it's all heaven pressing in on you. God is reclaiming your attention because the instruction is not expired. It's just delayed. But it cannot delay much longer. The window is closing, and you must decide if you'll keep calling holy warnings coincidence, or if you'll finally call them what they are, calls to obey. Heaven never stopped trying to reach you. You just stopped recognizing the language. But now the veil is thinning. The signs are no longer gentle. They're urgent. They're loud. They're pressing into your dreams, your days, your discomfort. They're not meant to confuse you. They're meant to course correct you. Because the God who sends signs is not trying to scare you. He's trying to save you. Type "I'm ready to SE" in the comments if this unlocked what you've been sensing. Blessing code 4411 has now been released over your path. And if this word stirred something deep in your spirit, if you felt heaven reaching through these words and opening your eyes, I invite you to sow into the very ground God is speaking from. This isn't about supporting a channel. This is about fueling a mission to awaken souls who are still walking blind. Every offering, every gift, is like oil on the fire, helping this message burn brighter and further. God said in Isaiah 55:11, "My word shall not return void." When you give, you become a living part of that promise, helping His word reach those drowning in silence. I've heard the call clearly, and now I ask, will you stand with me in it? Your support can be through super thanks. YouTube membership, or a PayPal offering. The link is in the video description. Don't delay. This is a prophetic act, not a donation. Your seed releases a chain reaction in the spirit realm. Give as one awakened. Give as one chosen. Give as one call. Seal it with your action. Activate it with your obedience. Heaven is watching. What you missed was not minor. What you ignored was not harmless. The signs were not simply nudges toward a better decision. They were divine strategies in the middle of a spiritual war. October 4 was not just a date. It was a divine line drawn in the sand. And your response to the signs has revealed more than you think. Heaven wasn't just testing your perception. It was weighing your allegiance. You have been in the middle of a conflict you didn't see, yet you felt every side affected. The fatigue that didn't make sense. The confusion that hovered over your thoughts. The spiritual fog that made you question your own discernment. That wasn't just life happening. That was warfare. There have been entities in the unseen realm fighting to blind you, distract you, confuse you, and delay you, not because you are weak, but because you are called. They didn't come after you because of where you are, but because of where you're going. And while you were busy dismissing divine instruction as mere coincidence, the enemy was busy studying your patterns, waiting for the gap of disobedience to widen. But here is what you must understand. You are not abandoned. You are being watched by heaven. Watched not to be punished, but to be preserved. You are being observed not to be condemned, but because you are chosen. This battle you're in is not about punishment. It's about positioning. It's about waking you up so you don't settle into spiritual amnesia while your calling is still active. The signs you were given were part of an invisible strategy. Heaven was not playing with your life. It was preserving it. Every interruption, you grew. Angry about every closed door, you wept over every delayed plan. You cursed under your breath was an angel standing in the hallway, keeping you from walking into a trap set by hell. Now the question is, will you stay angry over the delays, or will you see the fingerprints of protection? Will you keep blaming yourself, or will you recognize that you've been under surveillance by glory? God has not been silent. He's been subtle, waiting to see if your spirit would lean in or pull back. The conflict you felt internally, the pressure to give in, to go back, to forget the signs, that has been the echo of a war happening around your obedience. Your obedience has been your weapon, and your disobedience has been a doorway. Every time you chose silence over reaction, prayer over panic, you tipped the scale in your favor. Let this sink in. Nothing has slipped past the eyes of heaven. Not your private tears. Not your unspoken questions. Not the secret attacks no one saw. Not the weariness you carried while still showing up for others. God saw it all. He weighed it all. And now, the court of heaven is rendering decisions. Because when the signs were given and the instructions ignored, a different kind of judgment was triggered, not to destroy you, but to awaken you. You are not just surviving a hard season. You are being recalibrated for a divine purpose. This moment is not about guilt. It's about realignment. The war around you is not proof that God has forgotten you. It's proof that you are dangerous to darkness. You are a threat to the silence, a threat to the cycle, a threat to every demonic blueprint that had your name on it. Your responsibility now is to respond. Your next move is not just about your comfort. It's about your calling. Heaven is leaning in. The hosts are watching. The signs have been sent. The word has been delivered. The only thing left is your obedience. Type "I will respond" in the comments if this word pierced through your delay. Blessing code 3113 is now wrapping your atmosphere with divine covering. This is no longer a moment for curiosity. This is a moment of consequence. Hear this now, and hear it clearly. Within 72 hours, the silence you once ignored will begin to speak, but not in whispers. It will roar. What was veiled will begin to unveil. What was concealed in grace will begin to surface in justice. The hourglass of heaven has flipped, and the sands are moving fast. There is movement in the realm of consequence. Not because God is cruel, but because He is just. For too long, you dismissed the early warnings. You pushed aside the signs. You reasoned them away as fatigue, imagination, coincidence. But now the delay has turned into divine decision. The time of delay has ended. The response window is narrowing, and the results of disobedience or delayed obedience are now being set into motion. Someone or something is being positioned to confront you, not to destroy you, but to demand accountability from you. Heaven has assigned confrontation, not for harm, but for clarity. There is an alignment being forced upon your life because you did not voluntarily submit to what was being whispered in the quiet. You didn't move when you were nudged, so now the wind is turning into a storm. And storms don't knock, they enter. You must understand, this is not happening to break you, but to break you open. It is to expose what you kept hidden. It is to elevate what you tried to bury under busyness. You will feel this in layers. Emotionally, something is going to stir. Deep restlessness, moments of sharp reflection, conversations from months ago returning to your mind with unusual clarity. Spiritually, you may feel pressure, prayers pressing against you like they're demanding to be prayed, scriptures you randomly hear that strike you like lightning, moments of tears that rise for no visible reason. And physically, pay attention. You may encounter people, places, and situations that seem awkward, heavy, even confrontational. Don't miss the purpose in it. It's not chaos. It's a divine confrontation in disguise. The signs you ignored are not waiting for your approval. They are turning into instructions that will be carried out with or without your consent. And if you continue to delay, the cost will grow. Not in punishment, but in missed preparation. Because what is approaching is not only a confrontation, it's a crossroads. You will be asked by heaven to choose a path. And indecision will itself be a decision. Silence will no longer be neutral. You will either align or drift. You will either obey or disqualify yourself from the moment heaven designed with your name on. This is not fear-mongering. This is spirit-level awareness. You're not being manipulated. You're being warned. Because what you mocked before as a soft coincidence will now come back in undeniable clarity. And you'll know it wasn't your imagination. It was instruction. Some of you will face conversations you've been avoiding. Truths you've buried will surface. And for a few of you, the very person you dismissed, avoided, or overlooked will be the one God uses to speak the final confirmation before this phase of your life turns. Heaven is no longer whispering. It is commanding. Take this seriously. If you keep walking as if nothing is shifting, you will find yourself unprepared for what is already on the move. This is not about fear. It's about readiness. And readiness requires repentance. Readiness requires humility. Readiness requires you to look at what you once ignored and say, I see it now. Because the 72-hour window has begun. And what is written will not wait for your comfort. It is moving with or without your understanding. Type I will not delay in the comments if you know this word was your final warning. Blessing code 5151 is already speaking on your behalf. Now that the veil has lifted and the clock has shifted, there is one instruction you must obey above all others. Be still. Not passive. Not silent out of fear. Still out of strategy. Still because the heavenlies are moving, and if you interfere with what God is arranging, you may disrupt what He has already dispatched on your behalf. There is a kind of warfare where your silence speaks louder than your shouting. There is a kind of movement where stillness becomes your sword. And right now, this moment, this window, you are being commanded not to act, not to respond emotionally, not to fight with your natural senses. Because what's being fought for you in the spirit is beyond your strength, beyond your intellect, beyond your control. Be still, because heaven fights when you don't. Angels have been assigned. They are not confused. They are not late. They are not waiting for your panic. They are waiting for your posture. And that posture is not pride. It is not performance. It is obedient stillness, the kind that says, Lord, I won't move until you tell me to. This is not weakness. This is wisdom. Because what's happening around you isn't just spiritual, it's prophetic positioning. There are moments when silence is not hiding, it is sheltering. Right now, the hand of God is hovering like a shield over those who obey this one divine strategy. Withdraw, observe, listen, and let heaven execute the plan. What you do next matters. And what you refuse to do matters even more. Do not argue your way through this. Do not explain yourself to those who cannot discern this hour. Do not try to make others see what only you were called to perceive. This battle is not public. It is private, sacred, holy. And the more you try to fight it in the flesh, the more you'll prolong the breakthrough that has already begun forming in the spirit. This is the kind of stillness that will confuse your enemies. It will unsettle those who are watching you, expecting you to fall apart. It will break the rhythm of familiar warfare that the enemy has always used against you. Because what you used to fight in fear, you now surrender in faith. And that surrender is a war cry in the spirit. There are battles that belong to you. But this one belongs to the Lord. You will not need to fight in this one. You will not need to defend yourself. You will not need to explain what you know God has already shown you. Heaven will speak for you. The storm will be silenced not by your words, but by your obedience to say nothing at all. And while you are still, know this: you are not exposed. You are protected. The name of the Lord is a strong tower. His word surrounds you. His angels encamp around those who fear him. The weapons have been formed, yes, but they will not prosper. Not in your mind. Not in your finances. Not in your household. Not in your spirit. Declare this now: I am still because heaven is active. I am quiet because the King is roaring. I am hidden because I am held. Do not move out of emotion. Move only when instructed. Watch what God does when you stay in divine stillness. What you tried to fix with force will now be finished through faith. Type "I will be still" in the comments if this word arrested your spirit. Blessing ode 1818 now surrounds your decisions and shields your silence. You are not who you were yesterday. Let that truth echo through the chambers of your spirit. You are not standing in this moment by accident, nor are you surviving by mere chance. You have been shaped in the shadows, strengthened in the silence, and tested in the fire. And now, heaven is announcing your shift, not just a shift in season, but a shift in identity. You were never meant to remain in the place of confusion and delay. The enemy thought that by keeping you distracted, overwhelmed, and doubting your discernment, he could freeze your destiny in place. But what the enemy didn't anticipate was how the fire that came to break you actually refined you. What was meant to crush you cleansed you. What was meant to bury you built you. And now, the signs you once ignored have become weapons of remembrance. You are not broken. You are awakened. The lies told about you, the warfare sent against you, the people who left you, none of it was wasted. It all served a divine purpose. Heaven allowed the affliction because heaven knew the assignment. And the more pressure you felt, the more power was being formed inside of you. That pressure wasn't punishment. It was a prophecy in disguise. You didn't miss it. You didn't fall behind. You were being trained in the unseen, calibrated in private for a public mantle. This is why the attacks became so personal. Because hell doesn't fight what doesn't threaten it. You were targeted because you are marked. You were resisted because you carry revelation. You were mocked because the enemy saw the oil you were carrying before you recognized it yourself. But now your eyes are open. Now your ears are tuned. Now your spirit is aligned. You are rising in awareness, and that is dangerous to darkness. You will no longer see yourself as the victim of delays or the prisoner of missed signs. You are the one who survived the shaking and still stood. You are the one who was misunderstood and still obeyed. You are the one who wrestled in prayer while others wandered in pride. Heaven saw it. And now, heaven is rewarding it. Let this announcement go forth. You are not weak. You are not forgotten. You are not behind. You are being launched. You are being lifted. You are being handed the keys that were kept hidden until you matured into them. This is not random elevation. This is strategic acceleration. God was never ignoring you. He was preparing you. You've grown stronger in the silence, wiser in the wilderness. And now, What tried to silence your voice will be forced to witness your rise. You are moving from ashes to authority, from confusion to clarity, from hiddenness to holy unveiling. There is fire in your bones now, not fire of torment, but fire of truth. Wings are forming where your wounds once were. The elevation you feared is now the atmosphere you belong in. Not because you are perfect, but because you are positioned. And the throne room has recognized your posture. Stand tall. Walk boldly. Speak with the authority of one who has been with God. You are no longer waiting for permission. You are responding to commission. The days of questioning your calling are over. The days of second-guessing your discernment are done. You are stepping into a new measure of spiritual authority. You are not who you were yesterday. You've been forged by fire and called by name. Type "I am rising" in the comments if you know this word confirms your new beginning. Blessing code 2424 has now been activated over your elevation. Hear this now. This was never punishment. This was alignment. You did not stumble into warfare. You were summoned into refinement. And everything that felt like delay, denial, or detour was, in truth, the hand of God arranging a prophetic path that could not be contaminated by your past or compromised by your fear. October 4 wasn't a disruption. It was a divine pivot. A precise moment where God began to shift the terrain beneath your feet to align you with a version of you He always intended. You were not forgotten in the fire. You were found there. And you were not overlooked when the signs came repeatedly and silently, because those signs weren't just warnings. They were whispers of destiny. The dreams you didn't understand. They were rehearsals for your next chapter. The numbers that kept appearing. They were coordinates pointing to a new spiritual location. The sense of unease, the holy discomfort, the unexplained sorrow, those were contractions before the birth. Now, the veil lifts. The revelation is revealed. And the Spirit of the Lord declares, this was never about destroying you. It was about delivering you from the cycles you were too loyal to. You thought you lost time. But heaven says, no. You lost distractions. You thought you lost people. But God says, no, you lost pollution. You thought you lost momentum. But hear the word of the Lord. You lost everything that couldn't come with you. This moment has never been about exposure. It's about elevation. The signs were sent not to scare you, but to steer you. God was not trying to trap you in confusion. He was trying to protect you from collapse. And now, He is revealing the why behind the warfare. The reason for the silence. The purpose in the pause. You are being qualified in secret. Chosen in the shadows. And now the scroll has been unsealed. The assignment is active. And heaven is not whispering anymore. Heaven is announcing. There is a reward on the other side of your repentance. There is restoration on the other side of your obedience. What felt like punishment was preparation for promotion. You are about to walk into things you did not apply for. You are about to be handed opportunities your resume can't explain. You are about to find yourself in rooms your bloodline has never entered, not because you manipulated the moment, but because you finally obeyed the one truth that could save you. Your name is known in heaven, and not just as a survivor. You are known as one who responded, as one who listened after delaying, as one who didn't let pride keep you from returning. That's what sets you apart. Not perfection, but posture. Not your appearance, but your alignment. You were never disqualified. You were being delayed for distinction. You weren't benched. You were being built. You weren't ignored. You were being insulated until the storm passed and your spirit matured. And now your name is echoing in the courts of heaven. The angels assigned to your next are already being dispatched. And the path that once seemed blocked is about to unfold, because you finally saw the signs for what they were. Instructions, not interruptions. This is your confirmation. And this is your commissioning. Type "I received the revelation" in the comments if this opened your eyes and spirit. Blessing Node 3939 has been released over your alignment and promotion. If this word of revelation pierced your heart and pulled back the veil, if something in your soul leapt with recognition, then let your response go beyond agreement. Let it become a prophetic act. Every seed you sow, every act of support, is not to bless a platform. It is to expand the reach of God's warning and God's awakening to those who are still asleep in their delay. Heaven is moving, and this word is reaching people in their darkest hour. By supporting this prophetic voice, you are sowing into a harvest of transformation. Your giving becomes oil to keep the fire burning, a trumpet that helps carry the warning to the corners of the earth. God says in Proverbs 11:25, "He who refreshes others will himself be refreshed." This is not just a verse. It's a divine promise waiting to manifest over your generosity. If the Spirit is prompting you, you can support through YouTube membership, super thanks, or a prophetic seed via PayPal. The link is in the description. Don't ignore the nudge. Don't delay obedience. Give as one aligned. Give as one awakened. Give as one who hears the urgency of this hour. Let your obedience speak louder than your intention. Step into the flow of heaven's movement. Your giving is your agreement. Now that your eyes are open, now that the veil has been torn, you cannot go back to sleep. You cannot unhear this word, and you cannot unsee the truth that has been chasing you through divine signs and prophetic interruptions. Heaven has made its announcement, and now it waits for your activation. This is the moment. Not next week. Not after another confirmation. Not after one more delay disguised as prayer. Now. October 4 wasn't just a warning. It was a door. A door that only opens when your voice matches heaven's decree. A door that does not respond to emotion, only to alignment. This is your call to move from insight to action, from revelation to response. You've heard enough. You've seen enough. You've been stirred long enough. But none of that matters if you don't open your mouth and say yes. Heaven is waiting on your declaration. Not the one in your heart, but the one in your mouth. You must speak it. You must affirm it. You must decree it until your own atmosphere shifts to match what God has already said about you. Declare this now. I align. I agree. I advance. Your agreement is not just symbolic. It is spiritual permission. It is covenant activation. And the moment you say yes, the machinery of heaven begins to move on your behalf. Angels begin to shift. Doors begin to turn. Chains that held you in cycles of fear, hesitation, and spiritual passivity begin to snap. Not because you got stronger, but because you finally surrendered. Your yes is dangerous. Your yes is deliverance. Your yes is disruptive. It disrupts every lie that said you weren't ready. It dismantles every accusation that said you were too broken. It disarms every demonic setup that hoped your silence would be your signature of surrender. But when you say yes, you cancel the enemy's agreement and seal heaven's assignment. This is not the season to play small. You've survived too much. You've seen too clearly. You've been warned too many times. Heaven is drawing a line and calling you to cross it, into full obedience, into your real authority, into your anointed assignment. But the step is not automatic. The step requires your activation. Declare it. Write it. Pray it. Shout it. Let your voice become a weapon that breaks the ceiling of delay. Let your agreement with heaven echo louder than your doubt. Because this is the moment that determines what unfolds next. Your future does not open automatically. It opens through alignment. This is your Exodus moment. This is your Jordan moment. This is your upper room moment. You cannot afford to be silent. You cannot afford to be passive. You cannot afford to wait for someone else to do it for you. You are the one heaven is waiting for. The signs you ignored didn't disqualify you. They revealed the urgency of your yes. The voice of God did not stop calling your name. Even in your delay, He preserved you. Even in your distraction, He defended you. But now, He waits for your response. Not in shame, not in fear, but in full surrender. The heavens are open. The time is now. The one truth has been revealed. And the only thing left is your answer. Type ISAYYS to Destiny in the comments if you know this is your moment of agreement. Blessing Code 3030 has now unlocked prophetic access over your next step. There are things happening for you right now that your natural eyes cannot see and your logical mind cannot grasp. Because when you said yes, when you chose obedience over comfort, something ancient and holy was triggered in the spirit realm. A divine exchange began to unfold, not with words, not with noise, but in the still, sacred language of obedience. This is the part they don't tell you about. This is the realm few speak of because they can't explain it. But I am sent to reveal it. Heaven has been negotiating on your behalf. Even while you sleep. Even while you wait. Even while you feel nothing and hear nothing. There is movement in the invisible. There is trade happening in realms higher than human comprehension. Your obedience sent up a signal, a spiritual code. And angels responded. Assignments are being restructured. Plans are being reversed. Territories, once closed, are now opening. But all of this is happening in silence. You won't see it with your eyes at first, but your spirit, Your spirit already knows. Your spirit already sensed the turn before your brain could explain it. That tension you've been feeling, that surge of emotion for no reason, that stillness that feels unusually heavy, that is evidence of a spiritual shift already underway. Let this be known. Heaven never forgets a seed sown in faith. Whether it was a prayer when no one saw, a tear when no one cared, a posture of surrender when you were misunderstood, God collects everyone. And now He is returning it to you through the mystery of divine transaction. Not one moment was wasted. Not one offering was ignored. Not one act of obedience was forgotten. All of it was recorded. All of it is being redeemed. There is something being returned to you in this hour, not in the same form, but in greater measure. You gave up safety, and He's returning strategy. You gave up comfort, and He's returning clarity. You gave up delay, and He's returning divine speed. What was taken from you, time, trust, relationships, resources, is now being restored, upgraded, and reassigned with favor. This is a silent war, but it is also a silent victory. You're not shouting, but heaven is. You're not clapping, but the angels are. And even the demons that once plotted your delay are now retreating, not because you fought them in your own strength, but because your surrender silenced them. God has made an exchange on your behalf. Where shame once sat, honor is taking its place. Where fear once held you, confidence is being wrapped around you. Where cycles used to trap you, new seasons are breaking forth. And you didn't have to manipulate it. You didn't have to beg for it. You simply aligned. And now heaven has responded. Do not doubt what you don't yet see. Do not question what your soul knows is true. Just as surely as night turns to morning, the fruit of this silent exchange will become visible. Doors will open without effort. People will appear with divine timing. Solutions will arise from places you never considered. And your only explanation will be, God moved when I got still. Yes, the signs were real. Yes, the silence was sacred. Yes, the delay was divine. But now the transaction has been made. And what is coming can never be stolen again. Type IT is done, and in the comments if your spirit knows heaven has made an exchange on your behalf. Blessing code 7272 has sealed your breakthrough in the invisible realm. Let it be known in the courts of heaven, justice is already in motion. What they did in secret, heaven saw in full light. What was spoken against you behind closed doors, the angels recorded. Every scheme, every whisper, every trap laid to discredit, delay, or dismantle you is now returning to its sender. Tenfold. This is not the season of spiritual survival. This is the season of divine reversal. What you thought was lost will be returned. What you thought was wasted will be restored. And what you thought you'd never recover from will become the very platform God uses to launch you forward. Because heaven is not just watching your journey, it is now acting on your behalf. There has been a shift in the realm of justice. And justice, when it is divine, does not come through human vindication. It comes through supernatural order. You don't need to plead your case. You don't need to explain your innocence. You don't need to retaliate, prove, or perform, because the righteous judge has already ruled in your favor. The verdict has been released, compensated, covered, and cleared. Every person who underestimated the cost of mocking the signs God sent to your life is now encountering the weight of those decisions. Not because you cursed them, but because they cursed what was holy. They mistook your obedience for weakness. They mistook your silence for surrender. They mistook your stillness as confusion. But heaven knew the truth. And now, the reversal begins. The very places where you were humiliated, God is assigning honor. The very voices that mocked your delay, God is silencing. And the very systems that locked you out, He is turning upside down. There is divine recompense moving toward you with the force of an answered prayer. It's not karma. It's not coincidence. It is the fulfillment of the Lord's word. Vengeance is mine. I will repay. This repayment is not always public, but it is always perfect. It may not come through the hands of those who wronged you, but it will come through the hand of the one who kept you. You will know it's Him because the restoration will be too specific to deny. The opportunity will be too timely to explain. The joy will be too deep to fake. This is what reversal feels like. Not always loud, but always final. You will not only be restored, you will be repositioned. Not where you once stood, but where you never dreamed you'd reach. The attacks did not set you back. They were the very tension heaven used to pull you forward. And now, the tension is releasing. The slingshot is being let go. And you are about to be launched into visibility, into favor, into fullness. And as you rise, don't apologize. Don't shrink. Don't explain. Because those who walked away will witness what God was forming while they mocked. And those who stayed silent while you suffered will be silenced by what God now does openly. This is not about revenge. This is about redemption. The signs were not in vain. The warfare was not wasted. The tears were not forgotten. Justice is not a wish. It is a weapon, and it has now been unleashed for you. What they meant for evil, God has turned for good. What was used against you, God is now using for you. The weight is lifting. The balance is shifting. The scales are turning. Type justice is mine in the comments if you receive this word and feel the divine reversal already underway. Blessing code 8888 is restoring what was yours by a divine decree. You have heard the warning. You have felt the weight. And now, you stand at the threshold of your turning point. Not because of emotion, not because of fear, but because heaven has spoken, and your spirit has answered. October 4 was never about the calendar. It was about your calling. It was not just a date, it was a divine demand for awakening. What you once mocked as coincidence, you now know as sacred instruction. The patterns you ignored, the delays you cursed, the dreams you dismissed, they were signposts from eternity, gently trying to realign you with destiny. And now, you are accountable for what you know. Not to be condemned, but to be commissioned. Because the truth has found you. And that one truth, the one you tried to avoid, is the very truth that's going to save you. You are no longer waiting. You are no longer unsure. You are no longer wondering. The heavens have made it clear. You are seen. You are sealed. You are sent. This isn't just a moment. It's a mantle. And what you do after this word will determine what is released into your atmosphere. So, rise in clarity. Walk in certainty. Move with fire. You have been shifted, and you will not go back to sleep. This is your charge. Do not return to what God used this word to deliver you from. Do not shrink back when you were meant to rise. Do not apologize for surviving what was sent to break you. Stand boldly. Heaven is backing you. I declare over you now, your path is clear. Your name is marked. Your steps are ordered. Your time is now. And the same God who sent the signs, and the same Spirit who stirred your soul, is the one who will carry you through to completion. You were warned because you are worthy. You were shaken because you are chosen. You were awakened because you are anointed. So now, let it be declared in both realms, you are not blind. You are not broken. You are not behind. You are aligned. You are appointed. You are advancing. Type "I am sealed" in the comments if you receive this final word. Blessing note 1212 now rests upon your destiny with supernatural covering and completion. And if this word found you in the right moment, if it shook your spirit, if it opened your eyes, if it saved you from missing another divine instruction, then honor what heaven just did in you. Don't let this moment pass as just another video. Let your response be a prophetic partnership. This mission is not a brand. It is a battlefield. And your giving keeps the trumpet sounding across digital realms. Through your super thanks, YouTube membership, or a direct offering through PayPal link in the video description, you're not just helping spread the word, you're helping rescue destinies. Just as you were reached today, others will be. Your support is not a transaction. It is a sacrifice that carries prophetic power. And the Lord says, "He who sows into the fire will be consumed by glory." Give boldly. Give spiritually. Give with urgency. This word shifted you. Now let your seed echo your obedience.